back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Lily, and this is my channel talking about the joys of Midwest life and small town living and rural lifestyle. So if you're interested in things like home decor, healthy living, Midwest living or country living, this is the right place for you. I would like to address the elephant in the room, which is I do have a burn on my neck at the moment. I had started my new job this week and I was curling my hair for my first day and then I burned myself. And I seriously do not remember the last time that I have burned myself with any kind of curling iron or straightener, and it barely touched me. So I think that it was just kind of like the world's way of like humbling me and like knocking me down a peg and saying like you are going to be imperfect throughout this whole process. So we might as well just, lead with that right at the gate. So it's starting to heal, which makes it look even kind of grosser a little bit, but I just wanted to get that out of the way now. So I wanted to come on here and kind of talk a little bit about my next chapter as it unfolds. So like I said, I did start my new job actually last week, but this week is my first full week. And as I'm getting into the swing of things and my schedule, and getting acclimated to my new routine, there's a lot of things that I would love to be able to prioritize in this next season and things that I have been wanting to prioritize for a while that just weren't possible. So, yeah, let's get into it. So I feel like the main difference to my new schedule will be like my timing. So previously I had been commuting an hour to work, working a normal 8-hour day, and then commuting another hour back home. And that would land me at home around at least about 5 o'clock. And by that point, I would be so done with my phone, my music, my books, my podcast. Like I would be so ready to just like throw all of it away. And when I would get home, I would not want to leave home because I have been out of the house all day. And so doing things like going for walks, going to the gym, going even like to the grocery store some days was really hard for me because I just simply did not have it in me. And that was something that I had struggled with for a long time. And we were even like, there was a season when I was consistently in the gym with Tyler when we were getting ready for our vacation to Mexico back in 2025 or 4, I want to say. 2025, I think. And that was the only season where I was like consistently living an active lifestyle because I was basically forcing myself at that point. And I was definitely very miserable. Like I would get home at 5, like I said, sometimes 5:30, and I had spin at 6:15. And I remember just like crashing on the couch and wanting to like go to sleep and take a nap so bad because I was so exhausted and not wanting to go to spin, and every time just like forcing myself to go through it. And then when I wasn't at spin, I was semi-consistent on my weightlifting class, and then I would always supplement with running. So I was trying really hard. It was very much a cycle of me forcing myself through these motions and then hating it. And so of course, every time that I want to be more active, because obviously it's good for you, my initial reaction is to dread it. And I really don't want to live that kind of lifestyle anymore. I would really love to redo the way that I think about movement. There was a really short period of time in college when I had associated any type of exercise with going outside. And I think those two things paired together really well. So I was constantly going for walks, it was a lot of hiking, swimming, And those things kind of took a lot of the burden of exercise or working out off of my shoulders, because I was just spending time outside, and being out in nature was really good for me. And that was something that I looked forward to. So I think when I go into this new season of trying to incorporate more movement into my lifestyle, it's the perfect season for that, because I can be swimming, biking, hiking, rather than going to an air-conditioned gym and running on the treadmill and, like I said, waiting for it to be over. I don't have anything against the gym lifestyle, and I would love to one day be that kind of person, because I recognize how important it is to be physically functional, to have strong muscles, strong bones, to be flexible. And those are all things that I intellectually want, because I know that especially as I age, those types of systems and habits will become increasingly more worth it. That is definitely something that I will be prioritizing, because it's something that I've been wanting for so long that I've just basically had to make my peace with, it's not my time yet. And so now that I am able to better have the space and energy and time to be able to devote to that kind of change, I'm really excited. Okay, so working out was number 1. Number 2 is food / eating / diet. So I personally have always been someone who, I've never been a stranger to the importance of food and diet ever since I was in high school. Once I kind of got into my older grades, like 11th grade, I started doing a lot of research on nutrition and food, where your food comes from, what you should be eating, what things are best for you. I had a long period in my life where I was vegetarian due to food texture sensitivities, or just food sensitivities in general, but mostly texture sensitivities. And I even went vegan for a portion there, and that was kind of more so where my nutritional interest came in. I was really heavily into the lifestyle of eating majority fruits and vegetables, and then supplementing with protein. And I will admit that in my history, I have not prioritized protein in the way that women are supposed to prioritize it. And as I grow into my adult years, I can recognize how certain diets or portions or proportional makeup of the food that I'm eating, I can recognize how some of that might not be good for me, and that I need to change my priorities and choose something that is going to be more conducive to my lifestyle, my energy, stuff like that. So what I really mean by all of that is that my body is changing, and as I grow into a woman and into adulthood, I really want to prioritize what is going to be best for me now, and not trying to compare myself or my body or my outlook based on previous seasons of my life, if that makes sense. Being vegan was a wonderful time in my life. I had a really strong support system, a really strong community. I built solid, really pleasant friendships through that community. And I don't regret being vegan, because I was very passionate about it and it was a very big part of my life. However, I am also recognizing that at this point in my life, I also have different things that I need to prioritize, and I can find that stuff in different ways now. So one of the bigger diet trends, so to speak, is aligning what you eat with your hormonal cycles, meaning that women are supposed to eat differently than men eat, especially throughout different phases of their menstrual cycle as it goes through the month. And that is something that I would really like to try out. I don't know, I've been reading a lot on it, and it seems like it has been around for a while. It just only recently gained traction, in the media. but I have been reading a lot of decades old books on the foods that women should be eating because of certain like vitamins or minerals that you might be lacking in versus like foods that are rich in those things. Like I said, protein is very big for me, and it's up. Oh my God. Oh, I dropped my body. Protein is very important to me in this next season because I feel like it's kind of a very big like secret key to my health that I've struggled with in my life up until this point. And so I would really love to try going really hard on the protein and seeing what happens to my energy levels, my brain functioning, my concentration, stuff like that. Got a little chilly. Where was I? All right. So I've been trying to add in more protein into my diet and trying to eat more, like, they call them like ancestral foods, like honey or bread or like raw milk, the things that are closest to its source as possible and the things that have been around for generations and generations. And I honestly love that because when I was vegan, I was really big on like what humans are supposed to be eating. And so I thought that, you know, the fresher, the better. And I would really like to kind of get back to that ideology about giving my body what it needs and wants and not like a synthetic man-made substitute, if that makes sense. And so one of the podcasts that I listened to, oh my God, this is gonna sound so weird, but it's called Grounded Wellness, and it's run by the same owner of Primally Pure. If you guys are familiar with that brand, it's a non-toxic beauty brand. And she has guests on her podcast, and every time they share, she makes them what she calls a liver smoothie. And it sounds so gross, but I did recently buy liver because I want to at least try it. Because everyone always says, like on her pod, that it sounds terrible, but then once they try it, they say it's really good. So I want to try it, and I haven't gotten up the courage to do that yet. So you buy the liver and you defrost it and then blend it up and freeze it into little cubes. I have those in my freezer right now. And then you're supposed to blend those with, she does raw milk, I believe. I haven't been able to get my hands on any around here just yet, but milk, berries, honey, and she does a little bit of mint. And I'm honestly obsessed with this idea and I can't wait to try it, and I will let you guys know how it goes. I have been making my like milkshakes at night with sardines. So my like special treat for myself if I'm craving a sweet treat or if I want something a little more throughout my day or after dinner, I will make a sardine milkshake, which is just a banana and milk. Sometimes I use water with sardines, like a full pack of sardines whole. I just throw them in there. And then I put in a big scoop of my chocolate bone broth protein powder. And then sometimes I might add in like cocoa powder, or like I said, I did the banana or like pineapple, something to like sweeten it up and make it like sweeter or chocolatey, to try and like cover up the sardine taste. And the most recent time I made it, it was really good. It tasted like a chocolate milkshake, but it was like good for you. So I think I'm gonna be making one of those tonight. All right, the next thing that I really want to be focusing on in this next season is getting enough sun. So over the last year or so, I would say at least a year, I've been kind of getting away from like the tanning world, which for those of you that know me, I used to be like the tanning queen, or I would say like the bad tan queen, because I never went to get like UV tan, but I would do self tanner, and it was like notoriously patchy or streaky, or it was always like fading, and I would always like put on like too much and be orange. But it was really like kind of like my shield for me thinking that I was pretty, I guess. And so when I was feeling bad about myself, I would tan. When I was pale, I would not feel good about myself. And I thought that like that would like help me be more attractive. I don't know why I would think that, but for some reason it was like my safety blanket. And over the last few years, I've been really embracing being pale. And during that time, I've grown to love myself with pale skin and dark hair. But I've also noticed that with my specific genes and ancestry, it's really easy for me to tan, and I really don't get very pale much at all. I'm kind of more like olivey tone, so it always has some kind of like warmth and color to it. And so that was always like kind of went over to the other side where I was like, I didn't like myself tan all of a sudden. But I'm trying to embrace that now this summer because like I'm Italian, and if you look up like an authentic stereotypical Italian woman, she might have brown hair, she might have dark hair, but sometimes it will be lightened from the sun, and darker skin with brown eyes. And so I'm trying to embrace that, and getting the sun is really good for you. And I've definitely noticed a change in my mood and my mental health when I have been getting more sun versus when I don't. So that's like another priority that I'm trying to make, is going outside. I'm trying for like at least once a day, even like 10 or 15 minutes, and just feeling like the sun on my skin, or as much skin as possible. Earlier today, I went out during my break and I just wore like my tanning stuff, like a bathing suit or like a sports bra. One second. Sorry if you can hear my boyfriend in the backyard. He is weed whacking right now, so it might be a little loud at times, but I do want to get this recorded. So you can see like I'm a little tanner than usual. I have been tanning. Today I went outside during my break and I tanned a little bit just in my like bikini or my sports bra and shorts, and it honestly lifts my mood so much. And I've even kind of stopped wearing makeup because of it too, like just kind of letting my natural pink cheeks come through, or like obviously I don't have as big of a need for concealer if I'm tanner, or like the sun can help clear some of that stuff up too. And I've also learned that if you don't wear sunglasses, you don't burn as easily, because when your sunglasses are on, your eyes don't get the right like chemicals hitting them to protect against sunburn. And so I will wear sunglasses when I'm driving because I need them, but if I'm outside or if I'm tanning, I don't wear sunglasses, and it honestly has helped my tan. I'm not prioritizing being tan, but I am prioritizing being out in the sun and getting as much sunlight touching my skin as possible. The next thing that I am working hard to prioritize is my female relationships and friendships. And the reason why I highlight female is because this idea kind of came to me when Tyler and I were going through a season where we were really trying to work on our relationship together. And I understand at this point in my life that my boyfriend or my partner or my husband cannot be every single person in my life. And so I need to fill it with lots of other people so that I don't put too much strain on him. This isn't like the result of the conversation. That's not like what we were working on, but it is a belief that I personally have. And so I'm also the type of person in my adult life where I like my solitude and I like being by myself to a fault even. So like it'll turn into me just staying in my house and isolating. Oh my God, this man with the weed whacker. And it turns into me isolating myself, and then the only person that I ever see or ever talk to is my boyfriend. And that's not right to him, and it's not right to me. That's not healthy. We're meant to be living in community. And my excuse in my past lives have always been that I'm too busy. I work too much. When I get home, I'm tired. I live too far away from them. And so now I'm trying to make it a priority to be burdened by this, if that makes sense. So like, I will be driving the extra miles to go hang out with the people that I want to see. I will be spending money that, you know, I would have to budget in order to hang out with people and see them. And that's something that I'm kind of not forcing myself to do, because I do want to do it, but I am making it more of a priority now than it has been in the past, because I want to have a network of people and friends, like in my tribe, so to speak. I know that that sounds cheesy, but like, if you think about it, like I said, humans are supposed to live in community, especially women. Women are supposed to have strong female relationships. You know, having your husband or your partner, your boyfriend, like, that's great. And also, you need other people too. And I'm not going to be one to try and go out and make like guy friends, because I don't think that that would be appropriate either. And I've always struggled with female relationships. And I'm saying now at this point in my life, like, I'm an adult, I'm in my mid-20s, I need to buckle down and get over it. Get over whatever fears or drama or social currency that held me back from feeling accepted or feeling understood in the past. And I am throwing myself into the female relationships that I have access to at this point in my life. And so I've joined a female-centered church group that meets weekly to talk about different books in the Bible centered around women. I joined a triangle group at my church, which is me and only 2 other women that we meet with weekly, talk about our lives, talk about the scripture. I'm making a point to hold on to the singular female friends that I have in my life. Some of them are couples friends, some of them are friends, and I am trying to plan in seeing each of them at least once a month, whether it be dinner or the farmer's market or going over to their house, them coming here. I am working that into my schedule because this is something that I know would be like so beneficial for me, for them, for my mental health, just all around. And having strong relationships is really important to me. So it's about time that I prioritize that. And then my last thing that I am trying to prioritize during the season is also family. So everything that I had just said about strong female relationships and friendships, I am also orienting to my own family as well. And that would be both my biological family and my boyfriend's family. So making sure that I'm keeping in touch with them and we're visiting regularly, and I'm being there as much for them as they have been there for me during these past seasons. And that could even be in the little things, like texting them happy birthday or happy Mother's or Father's Day. It could be like sending them a post that reminded me of them, or sending them a card in the mail to let them know that I'm thinking of them. It could be all of those things, and like the in-person interactions as well. And so really getting to know like this ancestry and this bloodline that I am being a part of is really important to me, and having like tangible evidence of that as well. I really hate how in the media, like in-laws, stepmoms, like sibling rivalries, those kind of are the narratives that take the stage when it comes to familial relationships. Going no contact or being estranged is very much a trend right now. And I was almost at that point when I first moved to Iowa, just keeping my family at a distance and being very distanced from them, both mentally, emotionally. I didn't want them to know about my life. I wanted to be very private. But now I feel like I'm kind of swinging over to another side where I understand the importance of family and blood, and like the family bonds that you can make and grow, and then the effect of that on like the upcoming generations as well. And that's something that I really want to strengthen in this upcoming chapter, because I really want to create a strong foundation to build my own family on one day. And I am also keeping that in mind when it comes to the personal skills that I am building during this season as well. So it kind of loops into what meals am I making, what am I learning to cook, like how am I taking care of the house, because all of that is very integral to the foundation of like my own family one day. Like if I want to have kids, I'm going to have to cook them dinner, which means I'm going to have solid, quick, easy, healthy recipes to go to. If I want to, you know, have like kids or pets, I'm going to have to be able to keep up with the laundry and the cleaning and keeping after the house that we live in. It's all a part of like being a person and being an adult and having responsibilities, is taking pride in these things so that you can share it with other people, teach it to your children, take care of your spouse and the family that you have. So even if it's like in an indirect way, really building up myself and my identity in these ways is also a way that I'm going to be prioritizing family, relationships, yada yada. So there you have it. Those are 4 things that I am choosing to prioritize in this upcoming season. We are approaching summertime, so what better time to be going out and enjoying life? And if you want to join me on this journey, get some inspiration, explore these kinds of topics, definitely give me a follow and like this video, comment if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.